All right, so welcome back to Black Behind the Chair, where Blackness meets the beauty industry. I'm T Dizzle.
And I'm M-Pad.
Yes, and we are rounding out Black History Month. It is the last weekend in February. It's been a crazy ass year already. WTF.
Wow. 24
So,
starting out.
yes, not for real though. So before we go into the more fun topics, we always have to send love and light and strength to the children of Palestine, the people of Palestine. But really, it's the children, right? Because where did I see that the average age of a Palestinian is like 19 or something?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you know how many elders you had to have killed off for the average age of an entire country to be 19 years old? That's crazy.
It's so bad. It's awful. Well, and I remember like when all the issues first started happening, everyone was saying how like Gaza is predominantly women and children. And it's like clearly we didn't care. I just made a status actually on my Facebook, like calling out all the pro-lifers. Like, where are you? These are lives.
Absolutely.
Like, these are lives. These are mothers.
Absolutely.
These are children.
Mm-hmm. These are babies.
We're gonna be quiet. Interesting.
Did anyone respond?
No, they never do. Well, and I also talked about how, like, you know, give or take 15 to 20 years, if the descendants of this war rise again, like, I better not hear anyone calling them a terrorist or like any racial slur whatsoever.
But they will.
They will.
But they will, because, you know, the audacity of whiteness.
Literally. And I'm just
all
like,
of a sudden they have amnesia.
Yeah. Like, what do you expect them to do? And then I also said, like, you know, to the people with children and grandchildren, like, what are you going to tell those younger generations when they ask you, you know, well, what was your stance? What are you going to tell them? That you were quiet? That you didn't care because it wasn't affecting your daily life?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm definitely telling my grandchildren it all. They're going to be a problem.
Yeah.
They're going to be a fucking problem. And I would be remiss, because I know we always talk about Palestine, as we should. But I also want to make sure that it's understood that there's also simultaneously a silent genocide happening in the Congo, Ethiopia, Somalia, and Mali. And in the Congo, it's actually, well, they're all really interesting when you dig into, but the Congo specifically, because right now there's been 6 million people killed, 7 million people are displaced, millions of people are starving. Like, people are literally living in like open field tent villages currently. And it's all because Congo, first of all, is it Congo that makes rubber? I know they produce 70% of the world, or their land has 70% of the entire world's cobalt, which is used in like laptops and cell phones and electric vehicles and all of that. And so, of course, it's the usual suspects. It's the U.S., it's Great Britain, it's Israel, who are recolonizing that region and killing millions of people as well. So, again, I feel so like, it feels so like weak saying, you know, that they're in our thoughts and, you know, sending strength, and like, because obviously that's not doing anything. But I think even by being courageous enough to continue to speak on it, because as we know,
I also have emailed like all of the politicians in my region like to call for a ceasefire.
That's brilliant.
Proudly, we do have Cori Bush, so like
Yes.
she's been amazing. But we also
Yes.
have fucking Josh Hawley, which
Mm.
when he emailed me back, I was like, obviously, you're not going to do anything. And then,
Yeah.
like, I think Eric Schmidt or whatever, like, he's not going to fucking do anything either. I'm
Yeah.
just like, well, I reached out to the one that would do something. So I've done what I could.
Absolutely. And you know what? I have not done that, and I will do that first thing in the morning. But I'm in South Georgia, so I'm not going to hold my breath on that. Okay, what do you have for us this week?
All right. Well, so I wanted to ask you, I think it's Georgia. Did they just pass that like you don't have to go to cosmetology school to be, or like
So I don't
what's
think it
that?
passed yet,
Okay.
and I wonder if that's what they're voting on tomorrow. But it hasn't passed yet. Now, this is a
Oh,
thing in
okay.
every state, kind of ongoing. Because I remember when I was in Indianapolis, right after I'd opened my salon in Indianapolis, they were trying to do the same thing in Indiana. And they had every cosmetologist in the state of Indiana on the lawn at the state house protesting. And so it ended up not passing. And so I've been
Yeah.
looking everywhere to see if that's a thing here in
Mm-hmm.
Georgia. I have not found anything anywhere.
Okay.
So I don't know if there'll be any protesting, but it's definitely a thing. What do you think about that? What are your thoughts on that?
So I'm kind of curious, like, what's that gonna look like? Like,
Mm-hmm.
does that mean just some regular person can walk into state boards, take the
Mm-hmm.
test, and if they pass, like, they're just automatically licensed?
You think they'll keep the state board?
I
I mean, I
mean,
guess that would make sense because that's still money.
yeah, like that's why I'm kind of like, what does this mean? Because it's
Yeah.
also one thing to, maybe not go to like cosmetology school, but
Mm-hmm.
work under a
Mm-hmm.
a hairstylist that's been in the game for 25
Sure.
years or so. Like, that's different.
Sure.
But like,
Sure.
yeah, if they're just like, oh, I'm gonna go take this, and if I pass, like,
You're gonna be
great.
a hairstylist. Yeah.
Yeah, because
So I think
learn
that
and stuff.
for sure. So, it's funny because, and I think I said this last time, that my daughter, who was literally born into this industry, I was pregnant with her when I graduated cosmetology school. And she's
Mm,
now 27 and she moved home over the holidays and is now apprenticing under me to get her cosmetology license. Now, she actually went to cosmetology school 7 or 8 years ago. She was going to Regency, and Regency just like shut down one day. Like, everybody showed up and the doors were just chained, like nationwide, the schools closed down. So she does have some background already. It's interesting because, like she and I were talking about, like, you can legit hurt someone if you don't know what you're doing.
absolutely.
And like, who is going to be held accountable if you go to some kitchen beautician and get your scalp burned off? Like, can you
Right.
sue? Like, you knew they weren't licensed when you went
Right.
there. You know what I
Right.
mean? So, like, what does
Absolutely.
that look like?
Yeah, that's what I mean, because so I work with predominantly Aveda hair color,
Hmm.
and any class that I've taken says
Hmm.
specifically, like, you do not need to put your guest under heat when dealing with Aveda hair color. And I remember when I worked at my old Aveda salon, there were plenty of hairstylists like putting their guests under heat. And
Hmm.
I don't know about other color lines, but Aveda specifically, if you do that, and an incident happens, Aveda automatically like gets pulled out, and that person, not only, I don't think like, yes, they can sue the salon technically, but they can't sue Aveda, and so then they'll sue you.
Yeah.
And I just like, that scared the shit out of me. So I never like put my guests under heat. And I remember like doing other stylist guests, and they'd be like, oh, well, normally she puts me under heat. And I was like, I don't do that.
No,
I was
thank
like,
you.
that's for her, or if I need, if I need to process it a little faster, I'll get a warm towel, but I'll never put someone like under a dryer or anything. And I remember one of the color specialists came in and she told us this horror story. I think it happened up in Canada. A girl was getting highlights with 30 volume, put her under the heat, and
30 volume with heat is crazy.
Yeah, and it like leaked out onto her scalp and fucking burnt the shit out of her.
Yeah,
So
it did.
what's gonna happen if, like exactly like you said, someone wants to get a kitchen hair done, and that happens?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, as a color specialist, I don't know of really any color line that recommends putting color under heat. Like, I don't think that's a thing. And when you think about like what heat does to the hair and to the cuticle, so you're like swelling this cuticle up and opening this cuticle up, like blasting it open. And then no matter what you do, you'll never really get it all the way down. So now your color is fading faster. Like let's assume that the client makes it out of your chair safely with no chemical burns. But your colors are fading faster. The hair is not as healthy, but you're not licensed, so you would not know this. And so I'm curious. I think let's assume that did happen. I think in the beginning, maybe I think one, like, especially my clients, the client base that I have, the type of clients that I have are very particular. And I think that if they thought that they could get their hair done by someone who was unlicensed, they would already be doing that. I don't think that my client base is interested in having their hair done by someone who's not licensed. But also, I think that maybe in the beginning that would be a thing, but pretty quickly you're going to have those people that go under the dryer with 30 volume and foils. And you'll have those incidences that now have the potential to go viral. And pretty quickly, people will understand that licensing is important. I wonder if they would still offer licensing as an option, because my thing is, to take it away completely is crazy. You're just taking that education away completely is crazy. So it seems like, and then what happens to all of these cosmetology schools?
Right.
So now you're like getting rid of jobs. I guess you're creating.
And I hate to say it, but I really think that like these kind of suggestions or whatever come up because people still don't think that like cosmetology is a real job.
Yeah.
Like, like what do you mean?
Just because I have fun at work does not mean that this shit does not require brain power.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I can't tell you how many and I mean, I do see the stereotype of like a dumb hairstylist. I work with plenty, but like we're not all like that. And there's been so many times where like I've had, former clients or like other stylist guests, and they're just like, oh wow, like you're like, is this all you do? Like, do you do something else? I'm like, no, this is my job. And they're like, oh. Yeah, like
this is so high.
Like, imagine going to like an accountant or something and being like, oh, this is like all you do?
for right? Or a doctor, right?
Yeah, like the fuck?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
also,
I remember my very first job when I started doing hair was on campus at the University of Illinois, Champaign-Urbana. Shout out to the Fighting Illini. We spanked Maryland's ass last night. Um, but it was on campus, and I remember people would come in all the time and ask me if I was a student. No, are you going back? Or if I was going back to school. I'm like, no, I'm already finished with school. I'm already done.
yes.
Yeah. And you're right. I think people just don't, because whenever I tell people, like, we study biology, chemistry, myology, osteology, disorders of the hair, skin, and nail. Like,
Electricity.
when I start listing the things that we study, they're like, oh, well, yeah, when you think about it, like, we literally have the chemicals to create nair right now in the salon.
Yeah,
You know?
right.
Yeah, people just don't think about it. I think because it's fun, I really think it's because it looks like a fun, glamorous thing that they
Mhm.
just don't even think any deeper than that.
Yep, yep.
Which I think is also a testament to how well we take care of people. Like the fact that your scalp is not burned off, like you take it for granted because your hair is still healthy and shiny and bouncy when you leave. You take
Right.
my education for granted. But
Yep.
like if I didn't have the education, your shit would be crunchy. So
Hello. Yes. Yeah, so I'm curious to see like what that is going to look like. Well, and it's so interesting that like you have some people who like question like, oh, is it a real job? Is it a hobby? Whatever. But then it's like, I don't know if you remember a few years ago, there was talk about teaching cosmetologists to look for signs of abuse. And I
Mhm.
think the big issue with like why it really didn't get pushed through was because, okay, what are we going to do with that information? If we have a guest that's like saying that, their partner is swinging on them, what am I supposed to do? Am I
Mhm.
supposed to call 911 to go do a
Yeah.
wellness check? But then maybe at the time that the wellness check is happening, the person's not getting their shit rocked. So
Yeah.
now the user knows,
Yeah. And
and
you lost the
like,
client.
yeah, right. And like
Yeah.
the client probably knows it was me
Yeah.
and can say like, "Oh, I mentioned it to my stylist." And now the abuser knows that like it was me
And so
that
you
called you
might be in danger. Yeah.
out. Right. Cuz
No,
some of
it's
these
a
systems
thing.
are crazy.
Yeah. So it's funny you say that because there is an organization in the beauty industry, or it's I can't remember the name. I can't remember the name of the associate. Maybe it's Pro Beauty Association. I can't remember, but the name of the group is called Cut It Out. It's a not-for-profit organization funded by this Pro Beauty Association, and it's called Cut It Out. I have been a member for years, and they do have an online class that you can take because in your chair is one of the few places that maybe it's a little easier to see those signs
Mm-hmm.
because you may see bruises on like the scalp and the neck behind, on the back where, maybe an
Right.
abuser knows how to hide. So they do teach you how to see the signs, and then there's these little resource cards. So I actually have a sticker on my mirror with like an 800 number if they need help. And then I
Mm,
also have these little resource cards that I keep in the bathroom. Now, it used to be in the women's bathroom, but we've actually made our restrooms genderless now because it's 2024.
yeah.
That's ridiculous to have a men's bathroom and a women's bathroom. But we still keep the little cards in the restroom. And it's a private one stall restroom. So you can be in there by yourself, grab the card, stick it in your sock or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I remember years ago, I had a woman sitting in my chair, and I'm always suspicious when the man comes with his woman and like wants to hang out in the salon for like a 4-hour service. That's a red flag to me.
Mhm.
Why? Why? Go down the street and have a beer or something. Like, I don't know, do something else. You can come back and get her. We'll text you when she's 20 minutes from being done. Like, you don't have to sit here. That's
Right.
weird for me. And so the guy was already being weird. The woman was being extremely timid, and she had a child with her that was roughly 9 years old. And the baby
Mhm.
went to the restroom, and she comes back out, and he had gone outside to smoke a cigarette. And the little girl pulls the card out of her pocket and gives it to her mom and says, "Hey, mommy, here, you need this."
Oh my gosh. Ooh.
Yeah. So I do think it's important for us to just have some sort of education behind it, just because you never know.
Mhm.
And you want to be able to, at the very least, provide resources. I'm with you. I would not call 911 because I almost feel like you're putting that person in more danger. You're certainly
Right.
putting yourself in danger. But
Mhm.
also, I think that we should be able to offer some sort of resource, you
Yeah.
know?
I agree 100% because I'm kind of a person like if you're going to tell me those types of things, I'm not really wanting to ask questions like what can I do to get you out of this situation?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I had a client of mine at my old salon. She wasn't like mine. I was just seeing her cuz her stylist was busy or something. I was
Hmm.
doing her nails and
Mm.
it what movie had just come out? Oh, Ocean's 8, the all women cast movie just came out.
Hmm.
And so I was asking her, I was like, "Oh, are you gonna go like see that movie? You know, it's the hot topic right now, blah blah blah." And she was like, I would like to, but I don't know if my husband would want to go see it. And I was like, "Oh, okay, like why?" And she was like,
Yeah.
he doesn't really like those kind of movies. And I was kind of what
Yeah.
like what kind of movies? And she was like,
Yeah.
like movies where women are in power like that. And
Oh, God.
I was like, "Wait a minute, what?"
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
she was just like going on and on. We changed the subject or whatever. And then I saw her stylist later and I was like, "Hey, what's going on with
Is she okay?
yeah, what's her name? Like, should we be concerned?" And
Yeah.
the stylist was like, there was one day she came in and like wanted to completely like I think do a dramatic haircut or something. And so they did it and she loved it. And the stylist said the next time she came in she had bruises and told the stylist like, "So don't let me like just do anything, drastic like that to my hair without me really like thinking about it." And I was
Wow.
like,
Wow.
ooh, and
Yeah.
I mean, she had to have been, like, in her 60s, 70s,
Yeah.
maybe,
Yeah.
and
And
I
that's
was
the
just
thing about domestic
really
violence is it doesn't know age, it doesn't know economic status, it doesn't know
mhm,
intelligence.
yeah. Yeah, because I mean,
Yeah.
this was, like, a quote, unquote, "rich, wealthy, like,
Mhm.
older white woman,"
Mhm.
and I was just like, "Ooh."
Yeah. And as a woman who's escaped an abusive relationship, what I can tell you for sure is that there's not really much that you can say that's going to make them understand that this is not okay. That's a moment that they have to come to on their own. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
So, if somebody confides in you about that, all you can do is really be a listening ear. But
yeah.
yeah, there's nothing really that you can say. Like they already know it's not okay.
I actually have someone close to me who we were like in the break room and she kind of told me that her husband's kind of abusive. And I was like, ooh, I don't know how to
What to do with
properly
this?
respond. Yeah, yeah, because my response is like, you need to
Let's
get
go
your
beat his
kid out of there. Yeah. And like, let's
My
go.
response is, let's go beat his ass.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was like, I'm thinking like, I have older brothers that like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Okay.
mind going crazy for like,
Mm-hmm.
so all I could do, I was like, I think I said like, that's not okay. I hope this isn't like a repeating occurrence, but I did make a note in my phone just in
Mm-hmm.
case, like if she ever needed proof or like,
Has to kill him. Hell yeah.
yeah, like I have notes that I took like
Yes.
in my phone like, on this day, this
Yes.
person told me, like this, and this.
Yes. And that's great. And like just I was on a Twitter thread or an X thread not too long ago where a woman was talking about how she wasn't in her friend's wedding and they were no longer friends anymore because her friend was marrying this man that was abusive. And so under the thread, I don't really post much on that app, but I
Mm-hmm.
do like to go through the threads and read them. When I find things that are educational, they're really educational. There's a lot of bullshit too, but on
Absolutely.
this particular thread, someone made a really good point in that by abandoning her friend, basically, that she was giving the abuser what they wanted, which is to isolate her away from other people.
Yeah.
So just making sure that when people, again, when they share that information, like letting them know that you're here if they need you, but also drawing those boundaries, like, bitch, don't be calling me every weekend because I'm
Well,
beat your ass,
right.
you
Absolutely.
know?
Absolutely. Yes.
And so while we're talking about abuse and domestic violence, I was also on a thread either last night or this morning where Chris Brown was talking about how he had been uninvited to play in the Celebrity All-Star basketball game next weekend. So the NBA had invited him to come and play, and
Mm-hmm.
then the sponsors threw a fit, and so then he was uninvited, and they made it very clear that it was because of the sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
And so on that thread, the question was, and I actually think it was Tamika Mallory, that's on Instagram. It was Tamika Mallory's page, the activist Tamika Mallory.
Mm-hmm.
And she was asking the question, how long do we hold a grudge? And she wasn't asking that as saying that he should be forgiven.
Mm-hmm.
She was just asking, like, when a young person does something that is such as domestic violence or anything in that same realm, um, do we hold that, like, are they just done? Are they finished? They're done. Do we hold that against them, or do we allow them space to learn and grow? Now, I've asked that question and I'm going to let you answer, but I will also say, at least in Chris Brown's case, it wasn't just Rihanna, it was also Karuche, and there were others. So he has a pattern of abuse. And I don't remember him ever like being like remorseful or
Speak it, because I was gonna say the exact same thing.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I stopped fucking with Chris Brown like after the Rihanna situation because
yeah,
I mean to play off like, he first of all, he was an adult with Rihanna. He wasn't like a young kid.
wasn't 15.
Yeah, he was a grown ass adult
Yeah.
who knows better. And
Mhm.
like I know we shouldn't put celebrities and like people of power on like super high pedestals, but like,
Mhm.
buddy, you're fucking Chris Brown dating Rihanna
Yeah. Yeah.
and you fucking wailed on her.
Yeah.
And it's one
Yeah, she
thing
was
to
fucked
like,
up.
yeah, and it's one thing to like, maybe shove or even like slap, but like, buddy, you had
No,
to
he
have
beat
been
her
like
ass. He beat
contact.
her ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, exactly what you said. It wasn't only Rihanna. And
Yeah.
it's been multiple, if not all the women he's dated have said
Yeah.
that, like, one way or another, he was
Yeah.
verbal, physical, you know,
Yeah. And
abusive.
so, Chris Brown aside, would there ever be a circumstance in celebrity culture where that would be forgivable and they would be, is there space for growth and forgiveness, or do we just not fuck with
That's a hard question. Because I kind of also do believe that saying, like, if someone shows you who they really are, like,
Absolutely.
so I
Absolutely.
don't,
Yeah.
because I was really torn on, like, the whole, like, Johnny Depp, Amber Heard situation when that whole thing
Mm.
blew up. Because for a
Mhm.
long time, I never really deep dived into, like, Johnny's background. I was just like, I think he's hot. I like his movies. Like, to my knowledge, like, he didn't say anything racist or, like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like, he wasn't
Yeah.
just
I can't
so
think
when,
of anything outside of that scenario. I don't know anything
yeah,
about him.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So when the whole, like, Amber Heard allegations came up, I'm a woman. I'm a woman of
Mhm.
color. So, like, I
Mhm.
stand behind women. So, like, I
Mhm.
automatically was like, oh my God, like,
Mhm.
no more Johnny Depp for me, I
Oh,
guess. Like,
okay.
yeah, like,
Even post trial after he was acquitted, or yeah, he was acquitted, right? Was that
uh-huh, yes. So,
wait, was that
I
a criminal trial or a civil trial?
his trial against
Mhm.
her, it was like defamation.
Okay. So it was a civil trial. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
So
what were your thoughts on the yeah.
I watched 2 documentaries about,
Okay.
like, that whole situation,
Okay.
and I think they were both abusive, 100%. Like, I think she probably did some things. He 100% abused her. Like,
Okay.
there's no way about it. And so
Okay.
what's even more fucked up is, like, so she actually won her case against him
Okay.
in Europe, over in Europe. And he was only suing her because she wrote a co-op in Teen Vogue or something, where,
Mm.
keep in mind, she did not name him as
Oh.
her abuser. She did
Oh.
not name drop whatsoever in
But he
that
was a
co-op.
hit dog.
Yeah, all she said was, like, I was a victim of abuse, and, like, the I think the person or the people that I've been abused by are, like, beloved celebrities. She is also a celebrity herself, so she could have been talking about, like, literally anybody.
Mhm.
Now, was there a police report filed against Johnny Depp from her? Yes, because she went to the police, and that's when, like, all these pictures were going around that she had a bruise, and people were saying that she, like, put makeup on, that it wasn't real. And so, yeah,
Well,
so
we
they
know that
take
people will always bend over backwards when it comes to their favorite celebrities. We've seen that time and time again.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I mean, we saw that with the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case. And also, if you remember when his case, it was like in North Carolina or Virginia. Why was it in a state where neither one of them have residency?
What
And
was that?
so in one of the documentaries, that it was the documentary I watched, it was pretty unbiased. Like, it was just
Mhm.
telling you the facts.
Mhm.
Um but they talked about that. They were like, you would think that a case like this would have taken place out in California, or even New York, considering that's where they both had, like, houses and
Yeah.
whatever. The reason why he didn't do it in California is because she would have won. And the laws in Virginia or North Carolina, wherever he took the trial, would have favored him more.
That's gross.
And yeah. And I mean, all the media that was portraying the trial, a lot of those like favored Johnny. So they like took clips of the trial to where it made it seem like Amber Heard was being like erratic and her lawyer like didn't know what she was talking about. And that wasn't actually the case. They just caught a few moments where like they were both kind of showing emotion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like Amber's lawyer is also like very intelligent, has been doing this job for like just as many years, if not longer than Johnny's representatives.
But she's a woman, so obviously she's emotional. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was just kind of mind-boggling. And I mean, I feel like you can kind of see it. Like Amber Heard is kind of living her best life. She moved out of the state. She's in another country. She had a baby. Like she's doing her thing. I don't know if you've seen Johnny Depp recently, but for someone who said that like he was quote unquote the victim, he's looking pretty rough.
And the body always keeps the score.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, so to answer your question, I don't really know, because I also think there's like a difference between like, you know, maybe being a little bit of a bully, but like being an abuser.
Sure. Absolutely.
You know, it's one thing to say like, oh, you're ugly. It's another thing to like beat the shit out of someone because they didn't agree with you.
Yeah. So I think that verbal abuse often leads to physical abuse. It's just a matter of time. So to me, being verbally abusive is just as bad as being physically abusive. And that's probably me, again, speaking from a space of someone who's been in an abusive relationship. But I think too that there's a difference between like being 18 and impulsive and your brain's not fully developed and you just got caught up in the heat of the moment and did some dumb shit. And you're like, that's not how I was raised. I'm so sorry. Let me go get therapy, versus doubling down and just pretending like what you did was okay and continuing that pattern of abuse on other women. Yeah. So I don't even know the answer to that question because I have yet to have someone who's a known abuser come out and me feel like I should forgive them. I was just curious, you know, and maybe one day that'll, you know, it was a good exercise for me to like just ponder on, like, is that a thing that's, you know, especially with my history, is that a thing that I could forgive a celebrity for? But yeah, I don't know the answer to it. What I do know is that I haven't seen it yet. If that forgiveness exists, I haven't seen it yet for myself.
Yeah. And personally, because some of my coworkers were just talking, not necessarily to this extent, but like about forgiveness. And I'm kind of going through like a forgiveness thing myself personally. It wasn't physical abuse, but like my grandpa is very toxic for me and like racist and stuff. And you know, one of our last conversations, I asked him, I was like, you know, are you willing to die on this hill? Like, are you willing to die on this belief that like you're not, you know, all this? And he was like, yeah. So I was like, okay, like you can go into this new year with, you know, I don't expect anything from you. Don't call me, don't write me. You can go into this new year with one less grandchild to worry about. And I just turned 30, and this was like, right around when all of the Michael Brown stuff was happening. So almost 10 years ago.
Which is
And
crazy. That'll be 10
yeah,
years this year.
yeah.
Crazy.
And
Yeah.
I turned 30 this year, and my mom was like, hey, your grandpa reached out to me, and she said that he was crying, and he was just so upset that like he couldn't reach out to me on a monumental like birthday, and like I was in
Mm,
Puerto Rico and all this stuff, and I was just kind of like, that's nice that he called you.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I
That seems
kind of feel like
manipulative.
that's what I said. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, for him to call you and like share those tears with you to make you feel some type of
Mm-hmm.
way as his daughter. And like
Mm-hmm.
I've told my mom that like, if she wanted to have a relationship with him, that's on her. Like I'm not
Yeah.
gonna, I even said, I was like, I'm sure it's hard to feel like you have to choose between your dad and your daughter, you
Mm-hmm.
know but
Mm-hmm.
she's always like sided with me, and they
Mm-hmm.
have their own issues.
Mm-hmm.
So going forward, because he's oh you're good,
Sorry.
oh you're fine, he's
Yeah.
getting older and his mom just passed away. So I think he's kind of thinking, who's going to show up for me when I'm gone,
Yeah.
and it's looking pretty slim.
That's what,
And
yeah.
so I'm
But that's his
trying to,
choice.
yeah, that's kind of how I feel. I'm just kind of
Yeah.
like, why do I have to feel bad because you're old and you're
And
like,
standing
you're
in
in a
your
bad
firmly
place?
in your white
Yeah,
supremacy.
yeah, yeah. Like, remember when I was like, hey, grandpa, like, you really willing to die on this hill? And you were like, yeah, Donald Trump. Okay. Like, I
Yeah.
hope Donald
Call Donald
Trump comes.
Trump and see if he cares.
Yeah, like, yeah. And I've said it before, like with voting, I'm just kind of tired of like older generations expecting me to fix something that they broke.
Mm-hmm.
And like,
Not
why
only
am I?
did they break it, but they continue to double down and uphold the brokenness of it and like try to
Yeah.
like they continue to like try to lie about the fact that it's broken and like try to gaslight you into like
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Right,
crazy.
right. And then like, some of my coworkers were talking about forgiveness, and they were like, if you choose to hold a grudge or like have that hate, that's them holding a space, in you and blah blah blah. And I was like, I get that. I get what you're saying, but I feel like that's also coming from a place of privilege, that you haven't had
Mhm.
someone like fuck you over so bad like that, that like, the bully never remembers who they bully. That victim will always remember that bully. And
Yes.
so I just don't get that whole like, oh, well, you're older now, like you should just forgive. Why? We were both adults when this happened.
Mhm.
So
I know some.
why does one adult like all of a sudden get to be treated like a toddler because
Mhm.
they have some fucked up beliefs, or like they
Mhm.
said something fucked up?
Yeah. And why is it on you to stuff down your feelings and blur your boundaries to make them feel comfortable? No, that's the
Right.
whitest shit I've heard all day for sure.
Yeah. And I'm just kind of like, guess who's been able to sleep peacefully at night with their
Mhm.
decisions that they've made?
Mhm.
Me.
Mhm. Yeah, and you
So,
know what? I get that. I definitely get that. My so I have two children. We've talked about them plenty of times on this show. and their father is biracial. He is white, and his father is Puerto Rican, like black, Afro Latino. And their white grandmother is racist as fuck. She's one of these white women who thinks that because she likes black dick that she can't possibly be racist. She's still married to a black man to this day. And so my daughter and I were recently having a conversation because she's gone no contact with her father. She goes no contact with him off and on, but her grandmother will call her and like try to make her feel bad because she's not talking to him. And my daughter keeps trying to explain to her, like, well, he's toxic. And like, he's not protective of me. He does, like he's never been there for me, all of these things. And her grandmother just keeps calling her, trying to make her feel bad because her son that she raised won't get his shit together. It's crazy.
Right. It's wild.
Yeah. Crazy. So, but I feel bad. I don't know if feel bad is the word, but I definitely sympathize with both of you because you want to have a relationship with your father. You want to have a relationship with your grandfather. And also, like, I need to be treated like a human being and my boundaries need to be respected. And you need to not be a dipshit. Like, it's just not that hard.
Yeah, 100%.
What else you got for us over there?
Well, since we're on the whole abuse thing, I was going to talk about the Jonathan Majors.
Oh, God. This guy's an idiot.
the whole Coretta Scott.
Yeah, no, he's not okay.
Like,
he's
what?
Clearly not okay.
Well, so like I watched some video. Oh, it was when he was on like 60 Minutes or whatever. And the interviewer was asking him about like, oh, what's Megan, been for you during all of this and blah, blah, blah. And he was like, she's been my Coretta Scott, like I just blah, 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 blah. And so then I was like, wait a minute. Isn't that what he said to the white girl?
He just wanted that white lady to, like, what is his obsession, first of all? And Megan Good, if you can hear us, blink twice if you're not okay, sis.
Yeah.
What is that? What is that?
The way I would have been so fucking embarrassed if I were her.
I get secondhand embarrassment from it. So
yeah, like I
mean,
was
it's
like,
just weird. Like, she doesn't seem like herself at all. Like, she's very, to me, like robotic. Every time I see her with him, it's like she's acting.
yeah.
So I don't know if she's being paid to be there. Like, it's so weird.
And when that whole allegation thing got brought up, I was like, why? Because I really wanted to like him because I loved Lovecraft Country. But I don't know if you saw, apparently some people on that set came forward and said that like he was very abusive during, and I'm just like, why? Why?
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but anytime like something like that happens, or like, in the news, they'll be like, oh, this crime happened. There is a part of me that's always like, please let them be white. Like, please let them be white. Like,
that's hilarious.
Please. And
so it's funny because there used to be a time where you could hear the crime and you knew the race of the person based on the crime. But we've worked so hard at integration that that's not even the case anymore. Like, it used to be, if you heard someone had decapitated their parents, that's a fucking white boy. That was a white boy. And that's just not the case anymore. Like, that's not the case.
And that just happened. Did you see
I know,
that?
that's why I said it.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this world. It's It's a lot,
It's a
okay?
lot. It's a lot. So yeah, talked about the Jonathan Majors, and then did you see about Rachel Dolez's or whatever her name is? Rachel
Dolezal,
Dolez?
yes, and Ketchy or whatever. No, that's not her name. Whatever her new African name is, that she got fired because of her OnlyFans. Which, first
Yeah.
of all, who the fuck is subscribed to Rachel Dolezal's OnlyFans? Show yourselves.
Well, did you see? I don't know if this has been proven, but apparently her videos are under race play.
Of course they are. Of course they are. So is she playing as a black woman and like allowing white men to? That's so gross. She's so
I would
gross.
imagine.
She's so gross. But she could probably ball out on that. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of money. I hope there is for her since she just lost her job. But that's gross. Like,
Like, what the
what
fuck?
the fuck?
So I was never like a Swiftie or anything, and I'm still not, but I thought it was gross when she dated Matt Healy, and he's like a singer in a band, I think, or something like that. But he was on a podcast and they were asking him like what were his kinks, and he said fucking race play. And he said, yeah, he said that he loved watching like porn of black and brown women, like essentially like getting raped in videos and shit.
Wow.
And yeah. And
Wow.
he also called Ice Spice like some slurs and said that like she's not talented and like all this other stuff. So then a lot
Did
of
she date
like
him
Taylor's
before or after this?
Oh, so this was like during their relationship.
Oh, that's
So
cute.
then, yeah, so then like some people were kind of calling her out like, "Hey, are you going to like address your clearly white supremacist boyfriend about like what he said on the podcast?" So you know what she did? During one of her concerts, she brought Ice Spice out on stage and held up her hand and like trotted her around on stage with her, and then like they collaborated on a song together, but was pretty much like, no, it's fine, like she's here,
Look,
we're all
my best
good.
friend is black.
Yeah, yeah, fucking Ice Spice.
Wow.
What?
Wow. That's all I got. Fucking
Yeah.
wow. That's all
Mm-hmm.
I got.
Yep.
Wow. Okay, so speaking of Taylor Swift, how are we feeling about Beyonce's country era? About the country renaissance?
You know, I'm for it. I might actually start listening to country, maybe. I'm not a
I
big
know, I'll
country
tell you what,
myself.
I cannot get that Texas Hold'em out of my head. That shit is like living rent free in my head. I cannot.
Mhm.
Like, I just keep finding myself humming it. I'm like, is Beyonce putting crack in the music? If you're putting crack in the music, just say that.
Yeah, I think she is.
It's like an
Oh,
earworm.
so this is kind of completely off topic, but
Okay.
about Beyonce still.
Okay.
Uh, so how do you like feel about like her and Jay-Z's relationship? Do you think it's real?
I think maybe in the beginning it was real, but it does not strike me as real currently. And not only that, there are divorce rumors brewing. They're saying
Mm.
that she's going to go on tour next year while he's facing the music for some of his R. Kelly type behaviors, and that Beyonce is going
Mm.
to be on tour next year, which is crazy because she just got off tour and she's not a spring chicken anymore.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, no, it seems like, right, to me, it strikes me more as a business relationship now than love. I do think
Yeah,
that she loved him at one time, but it looks like the
when
love
she
is
was
gone.
16,
Huh?
when she was 16.
Yeah. No, for real.
That's how old they were when she met, right? When she met him?
Yeah, something like that.
Mm.
Something like that. 16, 17, yeah. And he was like 30, right? Or pushing 30.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. No, he's gross. And, the rumor mill is saying that he's about to have to atone for some of the things that he's done over the years. And that before that hits the fan, that Beyonce is going to leave him.
Well, and let's not forget, like, both Beyonce and Jay-Z are billionaires.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
also, do you think Beyonce is going to come out with a hair care line?
It's already out.
Oh, is it?
It's already out. It's called Sacred.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah, it's already out. I just saw the price list earlier, and it's priced
Oh.
like a professional hair care line would be priced. I think I saw like the nourishing oil was like $43, so it's a high-end professional
Oh,
hair
okay.
care line. Yeah, it's called
We'll be there.
Sacred. It's spelled CEYCRED, I think.
Interesting. Okay, well, I'm gonna look into that once we're
Yes.
off this
Will you
call.
try it? Would you try it?
Well, I'm sure. Like, I wouldn't mind.
Mhm.
I wouldn't mind trying it.
Sure. Spoken like a true hairstylist.
Yeah.
Like, I'll try
Yeah.
anything once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm curious. I'm sure her mom like had a big influence on it,
Who's
or
a
if not,
hairstylist.
yeah, oversaw the whole thing.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah. No, well, I don't consider myself to be a part of the Beehive. I think that's pushing it a little too far. Not
Same.
that, but I do love me some Beyonce. And I am excited about her country era simply because, one, the country is going to get an education on country's Black roots. So I love
Mm,
that. And
yes.
also, I think it's going to be a fantastic time for any Black artist who's interested in doing country music. That door will be cracked open a lot wider, and we'll get to hear some other things. Like, I know K Michelle has always talked about doing a country album, but as far as I know, she's never put one out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a huge K Michelle fan. I can't even name you a K Michelle song, but I know that she can sing. She's got a great voice.
Mm-hmm.
She's from Memphis, if I'm not mistaken. So country roots again, just like Beyonce being from Texas would be country roots.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Let's not forget, I'm pretty sure Black people did invent country music. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. A Black woman invented the banjo.
yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah,
So,
I'm definitely excited about America being educated on the roots of country music. And it's funny because I keep seeing all these white people going, that's not country. That's not country. And I'm just like,
right. Right. I've always said, because like I grew up in the country and
mhm.
I don't really care for country music, but anytime I had to listen to it, I would question. I'd be like, "Why do y'all hate rap music so much?" And they're like,
And
"Oh,
this is
we
literally
yeah, cuz of racism, that's why."
good.
And one time I was like, "Y'all literally sing about the same thing, just different styles.
Yes.
You would rather drink your fucking Bush beer on your,
Yes.
you know, fucking
Drive your
tractor,
pickup truck.
yeah,
Yep.
whatever. We're like, we want to pop bottles in G6s, like
Yeah.
that.
It's
Hello?
literally the same thing. It's the same thing, except in country music, there's no black, they don't have black people on their tractors.
Yeah, like it's wild. It's wild.
Funny. Funny. What did you think about Usher's halftime show?
I was kind of tuning in and out. I thought he did a good
Okay.
job, you know?
Okay. Yep. What were you doing instead?
I think I was probably like on my phone or something.
Okay.
Like I
Yeah.
don't really watch like I've never really watched
I
sports
mean,
like that.
and technically we're supposed to be boycotting the NFL. So
Yeah,
for me,
exactly.
yes.
Yes.
So,
I
but for me, I was
literally
like, I'm watching Usher.
yeah. I mean, I thought he sounded good. Honestly, I think I did watch it up until Alicia came out in the first note she hit.
Yeah.
And I was
It
like,
was,
ooh.
why did she always do that with the first note? Somebody called her Ariel. They said that she gave up her voice to get the man. And I was like, ooh, that's harsh. But also, she did fuck that first note up. It was bad.
You know,
But now, if you go
it,
back and listen to it on YouTube, they've already like doctored it up and you can't tell.
yes, I did see that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, Usher, I knew Usher, he's always going to perform well. So
Mhm.
I knew it
Mhm.
wasn't going to be a bad show.
Yeah.
I
Me and my
was kind of
daughter were
shocked.
in front of it.
I was kind of
Go
shocked
ahead.
to see Little John come out.
Were you?
Yeah, because like, what's he been up to? What's he been
Yeah, I
doing?
haven't seen him. He's been drinking
Yeah,
water apparently. He didn't look bad. He
he
didn't look
looked
too
good.
bad.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like,
Yeah. He's just been off living his best life apparently. I was
yeah.
sad, low key. I was kind of sad that Justin Bieber didn't come out, and I know that sounds crazy for me, but I
No, I like
expected Justin Bieber. But I know he's had some health issues and some other things going on, and so I'm assuming that he's just still on the mend.
He was there though.
Yeah, I heard that, and I actually
Mhm.
just saw him singing. Oh, what's the song he has with SZA? He was just singing that a cappella
Ghost
recently
News.
somewhere and sounds amazing. Yes, and he sounded amazing.
I like him
So,
when he's like in his R&B era, you
me
know?
too.
I don't really
Me
care
too.
for pop Justin, but R&B
Mm,
Justin,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, no, for sure. My daughter, whenever his movie came out all those years ago, I don't even remember the name of the movie, but he had a movie in theaters and it came out like right around my daughter's birthday. And so she and I went to see it and I came out kind of a fan.
I mean, he's obviously very talented.
Hmm.
Like the boy can
Absolutely.
sing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah, we tuned in for Usher. We stood in front of the TV and screamed like teenage girls. And then went back to reality and remembered that Israel was bombing Rafah. So, yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
hmm Very
What else do you have for me? We got anything else on the itinerary for the night?
let me check. Well, I don't know if we talked about it weeks ago, but to go off, like, did you hear about the two IDF soldiers at the campus that released chemical warfare on protesters?
No, ma'am. Tell me about
Yeah.
this.
I mean, I gotta look. I think it was in Ohio. Let me see. But yeah, there were two IDF soldiers or former IDF soldiers. Either they were students or posing as students. And there was like a Palestine protest happening on campus and they released like chemical warfare.
Where was this?
Googling now, 1 second. Soldiers. College campus. Yeah, of course they wouldn't put it like on mainstream news.
Of
Yes,
course not.
on January 19th, two Columbia University students who are former Israel Defense Forces soldiers attacked students with a chemical-based weapon called skunk at a campus protest against the genocide of Palestinians.
Wow.
On American soil.
Wow. And Skunk, weren't they releasing that during Ferguson too?
I don't know if it was skunk per se, but it was something that they use in war.
Similar.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I remember, like, the news tried to be like, it wasn't chemical warfare, it was smoke bombs. And someone who, like, saved a tear gas canister, like, blasted them and was like, no, it fucking wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah, my homeboy Malik was in Ferguson. Like, he moved to Ferguson when that happened. Actually, a couple handfuls of friends of mine drove down to Missouri. Some people stayed at my grandmother's house. Some people stayed at my sister's house. But Malik was one of them. And I remember that he saved a bunch of canisters, and they were from Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them were from Israel. I remember it had markings on it from Israel, which is crazy.
Yes.
Wild.
Yeah. And also, while our tax dollars are paying Israel, keep in mind that Israel, I'm pretty sure, has like free healthcare, free education, all that good stuff, and we don't.
Yeah.
So, hate it here.
Good times. As I'm staring down the tax deadline and looking at my tax bill and trying to figure out how I can fucking not pay it, to be honest, because I'm like, in the grand scheme of things, it's not a lot of money, but I'm pretty sure it'll buy a couple of chemical weapons or something. Crazy.
I hate it. Ridiculous.
Hate it here.
But I think that's kind of all I had on my agenda.
Same. We definitely touched on all of my topics too, and we actually just hit an hour. So I know you had a new closing for us. You want to do that today, or do you want to wait and like tweak it and come back with it next week?
What do you think?
I don't really have an opinion. Either way.
Well, I'll say it, and then we can listen how it sounds, and then if we want to tweak it.
Okay.
So that's a wrap. But the movement marches on. Black Behind the Chair isn't just a show; it's a statement. We're Dizzle and M-Pad challenging you to be your most authentic, unfiltered self, both in the salon and beyond. Keep shaking the table and breaking the mold. Until next time, power to the curl.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I thought that one was so good. I think this is my